name is Mackenzie. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for being here. Today we are filming the intro halfway through the vlog. You're welcome. I was so excited, as you will see in the next clip. I was so excited when Veronica Speedwell 3 and 4 came in the mail that I could not stop myself from picking 3 up. So I read 3, and then I had to read it again. And then my husband started getting into it, so I kind of took a break. And then I was going back through the footage because I'm about to pick up number 4, and I realized I don't have an intro. Never filmed one. So here is the intro. This is the reading vlog. We are reading A Treacherous Curse and A Dangerous Collaboration. These are books 3 and 4 for the Veronica Speedwell series written by Deanna Rayburn. This series is still continuing. I think it is an 8-book series. I think that is all that is planned for it, which does make me sad because this series could go on forever and my little heart would be content. I have also done a reading vlog for Veronica Speedwell book 1 and 2. I will link that up in the cards for you, so if you haven't seen it, you can go watch that one first, or if you just want to start here, start here. I do want to say spoiler warning for books 1 and 2, even though they're not in this reading vlog. I will probably speak about them, but also books 3 and 4. So spoiler warnings ahead. I am going to talk in detail because what's the point of doing a video on a series if I can't spoil it for you? I need to talk about the details. So that's what we're gonna do. So I've already read book 3 at this point, but I will send you back to past Mackenzie to talk about A Treacherous Curse. I can't wait to do a cute intro with you to start reading this book. Because I'm that excited. So I'm going to start reading this book, and I just wanted you to know that I'm going to start reading it now. And it is the 3rd one in the series, and I don't know anything about it yet, except that it's in 1888. It's about a year after the events of the first book, probably about another couple months after the second book takes place. I have no idea what it's about. I don't want to know. I'm just excited to be there because I already spoiled myself for the plot of book 4 slightly. And so I don't want to ruin this plot by looking at the back. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to pick it up and read it. You saw like my manic panic about needing to start this book. That was insane. So I read 5 chapters last night, and so far this is pretty great, and I'm really loving the evolution of the storylines, not just plot-wise, because they have to happen in this order for plot to make sense, because last book's plot leads into this book's plot, which will probably lead into next book's plot. But it's nice that we also get like a very steady amount of character growth and development, and no part of Veronica and Stoker's relationship is left to meander a little bit, I guess. In A Treacherous Curse, we are following Veronica and Stoker. They are still absolutely waiting to go out on their expedition. They're waiting for their patron to heal after his fall, so that way they can go on more expeditions, and in the meantime they are just cataloging the museum items that they are getting ready to showcase, and while they're doing that, Veronica is keeping tabs on this excavation that was happening in Egypt. It was said to be cursed, like a lot of Egyptian excavation archaeology sites are said to be, and then there was a photographer there who seems to have gone missing. Now, a diadem crown, also had gone missing. So it was assumed that the photographer, yes, Wellington, the photographer had taken the diadem, ran off with it, his wife, away from the expedition. But then once they got to England, he ran away from her, or disappeared from her, or there was foul play somehow, some way. He's gone, he's missing. But that's not even the weirdest part. The weirdest part is that the wife says that the room that she was in with him the night before is different to the room that she woke up to. That he was in a completely different room. Not only did this man disappear, but the entire room he was staying in disappeared as well. And not only is this woman just some random woman, she's not random. She's Stoker's ex-wife, Caroline. Caroline. This bitch. So we get a lot of Stoker revealing his past about what exactly had happened, how he and the photographer were friends for a very long time. His friend literally left him for dead, ran off to go and basically swoop up on Stoker's woman. So there's a lot about like his actual past and how Veronica feels, and understanding that she is like jealous, but also hurt for Stoker and sad, and it's just so gentle and tender watching their relationship develop, because they absolutely are people who are like bickering at each other. Like she tells him, hang on, it was so funny. She says, "You have the table manners of a Visigoth." And he's like, "I am hungry." It's great. They have moments of that and moments of tenderness, and I am just so happy to be here back again with the two of them. Oh my great googly moogly. I did plan on checking in with you again before I ended this book, but I literally devoured it. I consumed it. I read it so fast, you guys. I read so fast. It was amazing. And I have these ones sticking out because it's going to be a different color. I have to retab a little bit. But it doesn't take away from how utterly spectacular this installment was. Okay, so can we talk about how perfect the pacing is for their intensely slow burning relationship, okay? So in book 1, we're introduced to them, whatever, it's fine. In book 2, we're kind of getting a little bit more. We're realizing how much of Caroline is still within Stoker, or rather, how much Stoker still holds on to Caroline. And in this book, we perfectly follow that up with, whereas in book 2, Stoker and Veronica were having their first kiss, their first moment of intimacy, and he whispers Caroline's name to Veronica instead of Veronica's name. So obviously, she pushed him away and was like, "Get out of here." And she took that as him still having a love for Caroline that is overcompassing and overpassing anything that could be blossoming between the two of them. So obviously, the very next book, they're talking about Caroline. It's all about Caroline and Stoker's relationship with her and what actually happened, and how she only married him for money and not 3 months later was sleeping with his friend, and how awful she is, and how Stoker never even called her Caroline. Only the one moment when he thought that they were going to, have sex, like right after their wedding night, and he was happy. So it was really nice, because even Veronica was like, he called me Caroline. He said Caroline because it was the last time that he was truly happy like that. And he was recalling that. And that's really cute and sweet. Sucks that it was another woman's name. Adorable the way Veronica put it into perspective. And then at the end, when the Viscount came, and he's like, "Oh, Stoker's with you? Hang on, let me just say it exactly like he said it." It was, oh my fucking God. She said, "Good morning, my lord. Stoker and I are just admiring his moths right now," because her, Stoker had their patron build her a vivarium. Is it a vivarium? Why do I think it's a vivarium? Like, a greenhouse basically for butterflies. And the Viscount, Stoker's older brother, sent her moths. And so they had come, they were coming out of their chrysalises, and her and Stoker are watching them bloom now. And he says, "Oh, is my brother with you?" The Viscount said, Yes, Stoker told him, coming to stand behind me, his hand grazing my waist. I am. Everything. So much healing in this. We got Stoker being able to confront Caroline and just really lay into her about how much he fucking hated her guts now and how, like, what she did to him. And he got a little bit of closure there. And Veronica also got a bit of closure because she realized that whoever Stoker was before the Jaguar attack is no longer the same person. He's completely different. And the person that Caroline sees is someone who had everything taken from them, to quote Veronica, had everything taken from them from the flames, and all Veronica saw was the phoenix that arose from the ashes. And and then there was totally this moment where Stoker was about to, like, confess his love. He was like, she was the first woman that I had loved, at least until... And then he cuts off and, like, starts drinking. And Veronica says, and then I thought 2 words. Or 3 words. Not this way. Or not like this. And I just... How do I live? How do I go on? How am I supposed to breathe without you? I could sit here literally, like, pretend sobbing in front of the camera all night. So I'm not. I'm going to go back through and retab these babies right here. I'm probably going to reread this. I can't not. I've reread both books 1 and 2, and I want to do... I want more. I just need this to last forever. And guess what? If you haven't figured it out, after I finish my 2 reads, my 2 go-throughs of this series, I'm going to reread it probably every time a new book is coming out. How do I not? How do I live? Hi. I love this. I know in my B-roll I showed you me after finishing this one, putting it down and picking up the next one. I did not do that. Because I decided to reread it again. I've read all 3 of the Veronica Speedwells that I have read twice. Near back to back. I love this. This was so cute. I gave this a 5-star. It officially starts the culmination process of everything that we've learned about Veronica and Stoker and their relationship and how they're interacting and how they're actually growing closer and what it means for them and what they want to see in their relationship and who they want to be. And I love it, and it's everything. It's so amazing. What was really, really interesting in this one was that Veronica did not figure out who it was beforehand. Before having all the clues that she needed, she didn't know who it was. And it's very interesting because she even says that it's because she was attracted to that guy. And so she thought, well, if I'm attracted to you, you can't be the bad guy, I guess. And that was just kind of interesting to me because I don't feel like I've seen Veronica make too many mistakes or not really know. I did still really enjoy it, of course, because these books are not really about the mystery. It's really about the relationship. And I just felt like this was such a great culmination of all of it. So adorable. It was hysterical. I was listening to this in the gym because I'm back at the gym now, and I was just laughing. Like, I had to stop what I was doing in the middle of my rep so I could sit and laugh. And everyone's like, "What are you laughing at?" Don't mind me, just listening to my historical comedy. So I have officially also enlisted my husband, Michael, to read the Veronica Speedwell books with me. He has already read book 1. He started book 2 just a couple days ago, I want to say. And it was so funny, too, because last night my husband was like, so, because there are like 8 books of them, there has to be like a third love interest, like someone who comes in to try and like stir the pot. And who is it? And I just... It made me laugh because that's exactly where we are in this series now, with this third person who very desperately, it seems, wants to just shag Veronica. I don't know if he wants to actually be with her, but he definitely wants to shag. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Hello. So here we are. Here it is. Here it is. Here's the one. Here we are with the update. I read 4 chapters, so I'm on chapter 5. Basically, we've got the premise out of the way, but we haven't gotten into the mystery yet. So right now, so we start this book right after the events of the second book, or the last book. So in the last book, Tiberius walked in on Stoker and Veronica right before they confessed their feelings, right? So Veronica used that as a moment to escape, and she ran away for 6 months with Lady C, who is their patron's sister. So they just went to go have like a girl's time because she's running away from her problems and her issues. And she was upset with Stoker and said, "I'm not going to write back or to you, so you don't have to write to me." And so he doesn't, and she feels awful. And however, Tiberius does write to her often. Then after she comes back, Tiberius invites her to come to this island to get larvae of a very specific butterfly that was thought to be extinct, so that way it can go into her vivarium. Now, she completely accepts this offer. Stoker is not invited. She accepts this offer. They're on the way, they're traveling, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that the guy is like super Catholic, so he would be like uncomfortable if he knew we were traveling together without a chaperone. So you're going to have to pretend to be my fiance." And I was so excited for this premise when I read it on the back, because it's the same kind of premise that happened in A Curious Beginning with Veronica and Stoker. When they ran away to the circus, she had to pretend to be Stoker's wife. Now, this is an extra added layer because he is the second love interest, the third spoke in the love triangle, if you will. And I think that it was well enough handled, because I fully believe, and I think Veronica also fully believes, that Tiberius did it on purpose. And then I was getting kind of like sad because I was like, am I going to have to wait for something to happen so that way she will force Tiberius to invite Stoker to the island? But no, because once they got to the island, Stoker's already there, like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Stoker, yay!" So I'm having a grand old time. Nothing else has really happened except that Veronica was kind of mean and told Stoker, well, not kind of mean, she was right. I have always said from the beginning of this that Veronica and Stoker are right person, wrong time. That they both are not in the right headspace and heart space to accept another relationship, or a relationship in general. So at this point, it seems that Veronica is in that headspace, but she believes Stoker to not be. That Stoker is still so angry and obsessed with Caroline that there's no space for them to have a relationship. And she told Stoker that there needs to be time before they can be anything more. And that's where we're at. While she's also pretending to be his brother's fiance. It's rough. It's a rough time all over, but I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. I'm eating it up. And for the first time in 4 books, I have a tab for Veronica. I feel like we're starting to get so much more of Veronica. Some background, not really background about her, but like how she feels about certain things and what she thinks and her beliefs. And, I think that this, aside from what book 1 did to introduce Veronica as a character, this book and book 3 a little bit as well have done a lot to create more of a depth to Veronica, so that way it's not really like a reader insert. She's definitely more of her own character. Anyways, I'm really enjoying it, so I will just check in with you again, not until the end of chapter 14, beginning of chapter 15, and we will see where this mystery goes and what we need to do here on this island. Do I dare say I was slightly disappointed? I mean, it's only fair, right? I was slightly disappointed. I was hoping for more of a competitive nature between Stoker and Tiberius. I was hoping for more jabs. I was hoping for more, I don't know. I wanted it to feel like an actual love triangle as opposed to just like, heyo, I don't care about the mystery, just like I never really do, but it also doesn't really do anything for Veronica and Stoker. This book about Veronica and Stoker is really just like them realizing that they care about each other and they don't want to be with anybody else, and they don't want the other person to be with anybody else. And that's where we're at. We've defined somewhat of this relationship. At least the boundaries, which is like a great place to start. This one has a little bit less humor. It is a little bit more serious, at least on my first read around, because Veronica and Stoker are kind of on the outs for a lot of it. This is like the very tenuous part right before they get together, it feels like. And so there's not a lot of humor. They're not really talking a lot. They talk and interact somewhat, but not without other people around, which does kind of make me sad. But I think that this was a necessary step in their relationship in order for them to take it to the next level, I guess. So I'm still only on chapter 15. There's not much left. I will be touching base with you after this book, and then I'll probably reread it and give you some more thoughts after that. All right? All right. Hello there. I finished it. I only read it once, but I am going to close out the vlog with you now just because it's fresh in my mind, and I just love it. I just love it. I think that this was such an interesting part to the series. So I know in my last update I was like relatively disappointed, but I think that I was only disappointed because I had set up this idea of what I wanted the love triangle to be. But when you step away from what my expectations were and you look at what it actually is, I think that it's kind of wonderful. It's actually really sweet, and it's endearing and kind, and it really, like, this book takes a lot of care of not introducing, but a lot of care of, like, developing Veronica and who she is to other people, and her character, and what she's willing to do for friends. And it's just such a sweet, sweet thing. We end up taking a very big leap with Veronica and Stoker's relationship. He does tell her that he loves her, and it's so cute and adorable, and he wants to take her, at the end of this, he wants to take her back to London and just be just him and her. And I'm like, oh yes, honeymoon. But of course there is another mystery to go solve. So it looks like in the next book we will be solving the White Castle murders. It looks like will be happening. But this was such a cute little installment. I really love the banter between all three of them. I think that the way that Veronica is able to break down the characters in the story, because she is so observant, allows us to break them down with her, and she in turns becomes the most mysterious of the entire series, which I just love to explore as we go on. So this has been such a lovely little set piece, a lovely 2 entries into this series. I'm really loving it so far. I can't believe this is going to be over soon. What am I going to do when this is over? I'm just going to have to keep rereading them over and over again, because nothing else makes me this happy. Even the disappointment in the love triangle doesn't mean that I was unhappy. I was very happy. So happy. I hope you enjoyed this little gush spoiler review vlog, etc., whatever you want to call it. Tell me your thoughts of the Veronica Speedwell series down below. Please no spoilers past book 4 for these comments. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!